I survived 200 days on my server Cloud World and acquired some extremely valuable items. I also built some insane automatic farms and made million-dollar trades. Will this be enough to make me the richest player on Cloud World? Stay tuned to find out. This is a premium hoe, one of the best items on the server. Not only does this come with Fortune 3, this hoe has the ability to be upgraded. And before I tell you why I'm going to sell it, first I need to tell you how I obtained it. So we're gonna bring it back to Past Painful. Hello, Future Painful. This is Past Painful, and you have an insane trade that you need to go make right now. So let's go on and head over to the spawn. As you can see, there's a person here holding a diamond hoe, but that is not just any hoe. We need to go to our trading spot. As you can see, it's Butter, and we've worked with her before, and what we're gonna do is slash trade Butter. Now, I'm gonna be trading her a mythical helmet that I got from one of the crates earlier. In exchange, she's gonna be trading me a premium hoe. This is the best hoe in the game that I've been trying to get for so long. And assuming she lets this go through, we will now have our first premium hoe. There we go. And in trade, she ended up getting the best helmet in the game. And oh wow, she already had the helmet skin as well. So now that helmet looks pretty cool. It was a pleasure doing business with you, Butter. It's come to my attention that a player on the server that goes by the name of Cape John, and apparently he's interested in purchasing a premium hoe. Now, I heard rumors that he is offering big numbers, which is the only reason why I've decided it might be worth selling. As you can see, at first, he offered me 3 million, although I told him 4 million and it's yours right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna head on over to spawn. All right, and this is the guy that allegedly has $4 million to offer up for this premium hoe. So let's go on over to our shady corner where we make all of our trades and see if this guy's really got the cash. As you can see, he had just deposited $4 million into my account, and we now have $5 million in our account. So because I am a man of my word, we'll throw the premium hoe in here and accept the trade. And there we go. Pleasure doing business with you, man. I am now $4 million richer. I'm sure a lot of you guys are questioning why I just sold one of the best items on Cloud World. And the reason why I just sold it for 4 million is because I believe that I've just made a good investment. I believe I'll be able to buy one for a lot cheaper. So hopefully I just made myself a good investment. Now we have 7 different tasks that we need to complete in today's video. And starting off at task number 1, as you can see, we have tons and tons of loot inside of our chests. So my first objective is to sell as much stuff that we don't need. As you can see, there's an auction house and people sell all sorts of different items. As you can see, we have tons of different diamond armor that we pretty much have no use for. And as you can see, we've got a bunch of gear already up on the auction house. I just decided to put everything up for 100k each just to make it a little bit easier. So what I think I'm gonna do is start gathering all the stuff that I want to sell, make a few double chests just so it's all in one place, and then throughout the video, we can hope to try and sell majority of the stuff in those chests. So while we wait for all of our items to sell in the auction house, we're gonna go ahead and start on task number 2. As you can see, there's 7 tasks total, and on number 2, we have to build a fully automatic farming system. So it's basically a giant cart rail system where you can harvest your entire farms inside of a cart. It's like the ultimate thing for lazy people. You don't have to move and you can get rich. As you can see, I plan to have a railway system that goes through the entire farm. That way I don't have to move. And I can make tons of money while sitting down, not having to do anything. Think smarter, not harder. So the first thing that we're gonna do is buy a bunch of dirt. So we're just gonna go ahead and set it to 64 and spam this for a very long time. All right, and as you can see, I just bought an entire inventory of dirt. And now what we're gonna have to do is build all the way down to where we wanna start building our farms. All right, and I think that this is a good level to start building out our farms. Now all I have to do is place dirt literally everywhere down here. I then went ahead and outlined the entire area and lit it all up. So I think that turned out pretty good. The sun is now rising here. Now I need to start building all of the railways going up and down this entire square. later. I have a feeling this project is gonna cost me a lot of money. And one other thing I don't know if I mentioned, if you're wondering what this helmet is, it is actually an archaeology helmet, which I unlocked on a video on my second channel. Go check it out, linked in the description below. Now I just needed to connect all of the rows to complete my railway system. All right, so everything seems pretty good so far. I like the way things are looking. Now that we have the actual layout completed, I need to buy enough materials to fill all of this in with rails. However, I don't think we have to buy too much stuff though, because I have been saving up a lot of iron in some of my chests. As you can see, just in this one barrel alone, we have all of this iron ingots, which we can make quite a lot of rails from. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a bunch of these oak logs, and we're gonna turn all of these into sticks. Now all I gotta do is put all of the iron ingots in here and craft a bunch of rails. And now I just had to place rails across the entire thing. So as you guys saw, it took a little while to get it all done, but the good thing is my spawners produce tons of iron, so I already had enough iron to make enough rails for this entire thing. So now all I have to do is set up powered rails throughout the entirety of this, which will allow me to go through my entire farm without having to get off. However, I think there's one more thing I want to do before planting all my crops, and that is to fix lighting. As you may or may not notice, I had to get rid of mostly all of my torches when putting down all of the rails, so we need to come up with another plan for that. Alright, so I've been playing around with what lighting design I want to do, and I think this is going to end up turning pretty cool. Now, obviously, right now it's just dirt, but if I made it all stone bricks throughout the middle like I have here, and then perhaps had some sort of jack-o'-lanterns or some sort of glowstone in here, that would light up the entire underneath. And if we just rinse and repeat that strategy on all of these different farm areas here, I think we're going to have a pretty cool looking place. So I guess for now, I'm gonna have to lose all my brain cells and expand this all the way over. And with the entire railway system being done, I now had to create the entire roof, because we will have multiple layers to this thing, and I'm gonna need a bunch of space to put lights. Alright guys, so as I've been placing my dirt for my farms, as you can see, we are almost done. A player named Psycho is actually selling a premium hoe for $2 million. So what we're gonna do real quick, we are at the spawn. We're gonna go over to our shady trading corner, where we make all of our shady deals, and yeah, so apparently we made ourselves a good investment here. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and give this guy $2 million, and just like that, it has been sent. Let's go ahead and trade him now. And just like that, 1 second, there we go. We have now unlocked another premium hoe. This is why I sold mine at the very start of the video. Because if you guys remember at the very start of the video, we sold one for $4 million. So we basically just made a free $2 million. Sorry to the first guy, you kind of overpaid a little bit, but I'll take an extra $2 million. All right, and before we got distracted by our beautiful investments, as you can see, we are nearly done setting up our second layer of our farms. All of these different dirt layers here are all going to be a bunch of different lights. That is going to provide a ton of light for the underneath farm. But you can kind of get the idea. We're going to stack a farm here, 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 and we can have just a massive farm, which can generate us tons of money. And as I was working on my farm here, I was just mentioning to Psycho that he may want to kill me after watching this video because, you know, I just made a profit of $2 million. And he seems to be very concerned. But guys, nobody tell him he doesn't need to find out, guys, okay? It's gonna be kept between us. So now that we've finished laying out all of these lines here, which is gonna hold all of our different lights, now we just gotta figure out what sort of light is gonna look the most aesthetic. Obviously, we want a fully functional farm down here, but we also want to make it look really cool. So I'm gonna play around with a few different strategies, and I'll let you guys know what I come up with. Alright, and after a lot of experimenting, I found a light source that's going to be amazing. Okay, so you guys have noticed I just bought a ton of end rods and a ton of levers. There's quite a few players on Cloud World, and some of them have some amazing designs. And shout out to John Boff and his crew, I found a design that they made that I thought looked too good not to use. So as you can see, utilizing some levers and some end rods, it makes a pretty cool design. Now my plan is to replicate this design over the course of the entire farm. So let's get started. There we go. So now the entire row has been finished, and I think these lights actually turn out amazing. Now just imagine what this is gonna look like when it's spread all the way across the entire farms. Anyways, let's continue. As you can see, I got started on placing down all of these lights, and it was an absolute pain. It took me so long, but we managed to get it done. Alright, and after days and days of recording and a lot of brain cells lost and potentially a lot of hair loss, we have finally finished adding all of the lights to the entire farm. As cool as it looks, I think that was a lot more pain than it needed to be, but it turned out amazing. Now all that's left to do is fill in all of these holes here with a bunch of dirt and some water, and then we can start planting all of our sugarcane. Now all I have to do is buy tons and tons more dirt. I also went ahead and made an adjustment to all of my prices. I've reduced it from 100k to 15k each, just so they'll sell a lot faster, because I have so much loot that I want to sell. And I'm going to need the money now, because these farms cost a lot of money to make, so I'm likely going to need the money. Okay, that took a lot longer than I wanted it to, but you can finally see things are starting to come together. We have all the flooring in place, we have all the rails in place, except for the powered rails, which we'll still have to add. But now we gotta add a bunch of holes throughout every single one of these. That way we can start planting some sugarcane. So I was testing out some different strategies in which order we should lay down the sugarcane. I think we're gonna do it like this all the way down. But there's one issue. We don't have any sugarcane and I'm an investor. So going to the shop, if we go to farming, if we end up buying a full inventory of sugarcane, it'll cost us $10,080. However, there's one player on the server who may have done a little bit of farming and who may have a lot of extra sugarcane. So I'm gonna try and save some money where I can. Let's try messaging him and see if he could hook us up with a deal. Okay, so Psycho came to the spawn. I messaged him if he's down to make a deal, and it looks like he has some shulker boxes. And as you can see, I offered him $50,000 for 6 inventories of sugarcane. So he has 6 inventories here. Let's go ahead and send him $50,000. There we go. Now we're just gonna go ahead and initiate a trade with him. And there we go. It looks like we got a bunch of sugarcane filled shulker boxes. It was a pleasure doing business with you, man. Guys, we saved $10,000 doing this, okay? I'm an investor. We're trying to make as much money and save as much money as we can. All right, so we made it back, and take a look at this. They're all filled with tons of sugarcane. This should be more than enough to hopefully fill all of this in. I honestly don't know. And right before we go ahead and place water across all of here, we got to make a quick infinite water source. And there we go. So now we just got to duplicate this all the way across and all the way across that way. Let's get started. So as you see now, I'm basically going across each layer and mining out specific holes throughout the entire farm. This is where all the water is going to go so that the sugarcane can actually grow. All right, and I was reading in the chat, it looks like this Can't Be John guy said he threw up some mob coins in the auction house. So if I go in the auction house, you can see he's actually selling a lot of his mob coins. And perhaps I'm going to go ahead and buy some, because you never know when you're going to need some of those. So there we go. I think I just bought 10,000. There we go. I'll go ahead and buy that. And you know what? Perhaps I'll go ahead and take the rest of these as well, just in case we ever need a bunch of mob coins. We now have nearly 18,000. Anyways, now let's finish the rest of this farm. And with all the holes dug out, I then had to individually place water in every single one of these holes. That way we could actually grow all this sugarcane. Once all the water was placed, I then used the rest of my time planting a bunch of sugarcane that we got from Psycho. Thanks, Psycho. Appreciate it. And oh my gosh, is that a sight to see. I finally finished planting everything. This farm is nearly completed. All that is missing is all of the powered rails. So let's go ahead and do that in 3, 2, 1. And there we go. And might I add, that took so long. Not only did I have to add the power rails everywhere, but I also had to add levers underneath every single power rail. So you can imagine how long it just took. But I am glad my pain is over for at least this layer. Obviously, we're gonna have to create layers on top of layers, but we'll do that over the course of a bunch of videos. It doesn't all have to be in this one. Now we just gotta test it. So let's go ahead and grab our minecart here. And then if we just go ahead and place it here, and let's see how efficient this is. So as you can see, we are now being taken. Do I have me? Oh yeah, I do have my premium hoe here. Let's start using this. And if we just look straight, it's gonna start taking us through all of our crops. Dude, this is absolutely amazing. We're gonna be able to get so much money off of this, and we're gonna be able to upgrade our premium hoe quite a bit. This farm is working out exactly as it was intended to do. Now I don't really have to do anything. I can just hold down left click and harvest tons and tons of crops. And as you can see, we've just reached level 2 on our premium hoe. So as you keep harvesting, you're going to continuously upgrade levels. And obviously, you can get a bunch of different upgrades as I showed earlier. But anyways, I'm going to continue harvesting this for the remainder of the night. Now, there's one issue that I just noticed with this farm here. Perhaps, oh wow, I actually forgot to light up one of those. Okay, well, other than forgetting to light up that one, as you can see, we are coming towards the end now. And this might not be good. Yeah, we're gonna need to fix that because currently it makes you fall all the way into the void. Thankfully for my Aurora rank, I can fly, but that wouldn't have been good. So we could easily add a stop right here, and that should be good for now. So the next thing I wanted to do is, of course, we have our premium hoe here. You can see that we're level 2, halfway to level 3. And as you can see from Zeus, you get daily rewards every day that you've been playing. And once you get to day 15, it resets. As you guys can see in this chest here, all of these are notes that I actually got from Zeus doing the daily logins. And as you can see, there's tons and tons of experience that I'm able to obtain. So that's what we're going to do right now. Let's go ahead and use all of these premium hoe experience and see what level we can get to. And there we go. So we just went ahead and got all the way up to level 26 using all of our premium hoe experience. Now, the good thing is when we right click this, of course, we have a bunch of upgrades that we're able to do now. And as you can see, when you hover over it, you can see that I have 25 points. So of course, there's the auto sell, the experience boost upgrade, the treasure hunter, and the double drops. I think the best thing that I should do is upgrade the experience boost. That way our premium hoe will level up even faster. And as you can see, our experience boost upgrade is now at max level. Wow, we have experience boost X. I believe that's experience boost 10 or possibly higher, so that is absolutely OP. And we still have 5 points remaining, so perhaps we'll throw one into the treasure upgrade. That way we can unlock some random treasures while farming. And for our remaining 2 points, we'll just get the auto sell. As you can see, we've unlocked the next task. And the next task that we're going to be doing is we are going to have to go to the dig site and try to get some specific armor trim. That way we can make our armor look really cool. Once we have the specific armor trim we're looking for, we can then upgrade to netherite armor. Oh wait, we just sold an item in the item shop for 15,000 there in the chat. Okay, you know what? I'll take it. So what we gotta do for now is let's go into our ender chest, get our speed duster, and we already got our archaeology helmet on, so let's go to the /warp dig site, and we're just gonna have to dig around here for a little while and hopefully get some decent armor trims that look pretty cool. So with my archaeology helmet and speed duster 2, I went ahead and destroyed the dig site for the next couple days, gathering tons of artifacts. If you're new to Cloud World at all, I'd highly suggest going to the dig site if you need money. So I'm gonna go ahead and sell everything that I just got from the dig site. And now we are left over with all of these different trims. Now, what you can do with these trims is you can actually apply it to your armor. So these are all the ones that we have so far, but apparently there's a rare trim called the silence trim, which as you can see, I still haven't got a single one yet. So I think I might stay here for a little bit longer and see if I can get lucky and unlock some silence trims, because if I can get the rarest trim, that would be ideal because later on I could sell it for a lot of money if I want. However, I'll probably just end up wearing it, but let's keep grinding here. I just went back and forth and just sold everything, and this is everything else that I have. As you can see, we got 44 sniffer eggs, meaning we can buy another spawner. But if you take a look at this, we actually got 4 of these eye armor trims, which the design does look kind of cool. However, we didn't get any of the silence trims. So perhaps anyone watching this video, maybe I'll buy one off you in the future. But for now, I think we are going to use this eye armor trim and apply it to all my armor. So the next thing we need to do is grab some wood, and we're going to grab some iron, turn them into planks, and then we're gonna go ahead and create ourselves a smithing table. We can go ahead and throw it right there. Now, if I just open it up, put the boots there, we're gonna put the template there, and then with one piece of iron, as you can see, here is our upgraded diamond boots. And if you take a look closely, they have a little bit of white trim on them, which looks cool. Now let's just do that to the rest of our gear. And there we go. As you can see, we've got all of this trim on our diamond armor now, and it looks pretty unique, I'm not gonna lie. All right, and the next thing I gotta do is quickly break into here and go ahead and place our next sniffer spawner. There we go. And we'll patch that back up. Now with all of our trim on our armor, it goes pretty well with the Cloud World shield. Now, if you've seen our first 100-day video, you would have known I got another one of these. So we're gonna throw this on top of our grinding sword, and there we go. As you can see, we have unlocked our 4th task. And for our 4th task, we're actually gonna have to go into the shop. And if you take a look at tier 3 spawners, our next task is to accomplish this. And to do that, we need to have 750,000 kills of tier 2 mobs. We currently have 716,000. So we are nearly there, probably a little bit more AFKing, and I'll be able to upgrade to the tier 3 spawners. However, AFKing spawners is something I can do while I'm sleeping, so perhaps we'll just go to the next challenge. And as you can see, for our next task, I've unlocked it, and we're gonna have to build our own grocery store here on my island. That's right, my next objective is to build some sort of shop where we could sell tons of loot to the players on the server. So my plan is to expand out the left side all the way out towards the border, and then expand the right side towards the other side of the border. And then inside of that build, we'll have a bunch of different areas where you could purchase different loot. So the first thing that I need to do is gather a bunch more dirt. Yes, I'm buying more dirt, even though I've spent literally tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands on dirt already. And then I'm also gonna need a bunch of oak leaves to surround the pathway like we have here. And then we are gonna need a bunch of stone as well. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead and start removing the Christmas decorations since it is no longer Christmas. It's a bit weird having this up. So we're gonna do some redesigning of the base now, some expansions, so let's get started. So if I was gonna have a store on my island, I was going to need a fairly big area. I wanted to continue with the same designs that we had used to create the center, that way it's all matching, and I think it turned out pretty well. Once that was completed, I then had to take down each of the presents individually and turn it back into the normal design. As you can see, we ended up clearing out both of our presents here as it is no longer Christmas. It's a little bit painful to see them go, but that just means it's the start of something new. So what I need to do real quick is we need to use our slash repair that we get from our Aetheril kit. There we go, and now all of our tools are repaired. And before we start building here, I did want to go ahead and use some of my cloud points. So what we're going to do is go slash IS upgrade. And now, as you can see, there's a bunch of different areas that I could upgrade in my island. I can increase the island size, I can increase the warp limit, increase my chest size, or increased mob coins. What I think I'm going to be doing is upgrading my mob coins again, so we're going to go ahead and use that, and that just used 87 cloud points. However, we're going to be able to get a lot more mob coins when farming all of our mobs. And when looking at our spawners here, we only need about 15,000 more kills before we upgrade to the tier 3 spawners, so we're going to be getting those fairly soon. As we are pretty close to upgrading to the next tier, I tried to make things a little bit faster by killing as many mobs as I could over the next couple days. So as you guys just saw, we spent the last few days harvesting a bunch of mob coins, and we were trying to get a bunch of kills so that we could upgrade to the tier 3. However, we still need so much more, so it seems it'll be in my best interest to AFK that. But while I was harvesting the mob coins here, you could see that someone actually just bought a bunch of my armor from the auction house. So we ended up making a decent amount of money from that, so shout out to whoever did that. Because someone just bought a bunch of items, that means we can go ahead and list up a bunch more. So I'm thinking we go ahead and throw our explosive axes up on there because we actually don't need these 3 because we already have some. All right, so I've decided I'm gonna list all 3 of these explosive axes on the auction house for $250,000 each. I think that is a fair price, and we should be able to make a decent amount of money from those. So as you can see, we have now unlocked the 5th task that we need to do. And that is to unlock the Farmer's Enchant. So if we go to the /CE, which means custom enchants, and then we just go over to the view all enchants, you'll see that there's a farmer book. As you can see, it says a chance of receiving extra crops while farming. this could be applied to armor. So if I'm able to get 4 of those farmer enchants, I'll be able to apply it to each piece of armor, and I'll have a decent chance to get double the drops on all crops, which would make us a ton more money. And as an investor like myself, that's pretty important. So what we're gonna do, let's go to the slash enchants, and I could purchase a random enchant for 250 mob coins. I'm gonna have to do this until I get 4 farmer books, which could be a while, or if I'm lucky, maybe it'll be quick. So let's get to it. Oh, and just like that, our second book, we have already gotten a farmer's book, so we're only gonna need a few more of those. Perhaps we'll get some other good enchants while we're here. Okay, and after spending 8,000 mob coins, you could see all the different farmer books that I just got, but we also got 4 Speed Duster 1s, which we can combine into 2 Speed Duster 2 excavation brushes, which will put me around $1 million when they sell in the auction house. Not only that, we got some strength, some speed, swift sneak. We also got some night vision, slow falling, magnetism, and grinder 1 book. So, oh my gosh, that was a lot more successful than I thought it was. I honestly didn't think that I was gonna get enough, but you know what? We'll go ahead and take that. Now I believe all I have to do is drag and drop the farmer. Yep, there we go. On each piece of gear. And there we go. So now we're going to be able to collect a lot more crops. However, I believe you can get farmer too. So yeah, perhaps I'll open up a little bit more books and hopefully get lucky to get 2 more farmer books. All right, and there we go. So we actually just got the rest of our farmer books. So we got to throw that on there. And I believe we got 1 more. Yeah, right there. Okay. So now we have farmer 2 on all of our gear. So when we harvest our crops, we're going to be getting a higher chance of getting double the crops, which means we're going to be rich, guys, okay? Not only that, but I got even more Speed Duster books. I don't know what my luck is today, but I'll take it. Now, there was one other thing that I wanted to do, and that was to go to the shop. And we're going to go ahead and buy 2 excavation brushes. And now we're going to go ahead and make each of these Speed Duster 2. Now, according to the auction house, they're worth around $800,000 total. So we'll throw them both up on the auction house now. And then we're going to start on building this area here. So my original plan was to actually build some sort of center hub right here, but I've actually made a change of plans. So I want to become one of the most wealthiest players on Cloud World, and to do that, I'm going to need to utilize these compost bins. And currently, they're just sitting in all of this netherwort, really not doing anything. So my plan is to make an automated netherwort farm utilizing my compost bins. As you can see, it's going to be a sort of rectangular shape, and I'm going to have a minecart system that automatically will take me through the entire farm. But before we start building this farm, let's head on over to the spawn and open up our crate keys, because we haven't done that yet. All right, so we made it over to the spawn. We have a bunch of players here watching this. So we do have about 5 mythical crate keys to open. We have 1 ancient treasure and 3 skin keys. Oh, okay, so we just got a helmet. I'm hoping to get myself a hoe skin key. That way I could have something really cool for my premium hoe. However, a helmet is not bad at all, so we'll go ahead and take that. Okay, and a fishing rod. I believe I already have one of those. Now, if I pray to the gods above, please give me what I'm looking for. And a Cloud World shield, bro. You gotta be kidding me, man. You have gotta be kidding me. I already have half of these, but you know what? It's not bad. They could probably sell for a good amount on the auction house. We'll go ahead and open up our ancient treasure now. I'm hoping to get a premium hoe. That would be ideal. Ooh, okay. You know what? I opened up a key and got 2 keys. I will take that. Now, the main thing I'm hoping for here is a compost bin or a premium hoe. Okay, you know what? Snow golem's not terrible. I'll go ahead and take those. And now we got 1 more ancient key to open up here. Let's see what we get. And ancient money pouch. Okay, and I believe this will give us a bunch of money, but we'll have to open that one up later. Okay, now we have our 5 remaining keys that we are going to do. Please give us a premium hoe. Oh, okay. Well, we opened up 2 extra keys, so that is a W. We'll go ahead and do that. And now we actually have 6 keys left to open. Explosive pickaxes. We already have quite a few of those, so not the best item for us right now, but we will keep praying here. Another 2 mythical keys? You've got to be kidding me. I think I've somehow rigged the system. I just keep getting more keys, but you know what? I'm not going to complain. Okay, we got ourselves a mythical helmet, which is actually good. We can go ahead and put the Cloud World helmet on top of this now. And as you can see, I have my Cloud World helmet on now on the mythical helmet, which is pretty sick. But we'll keep going here because we still have 5 more keys. We got Ronald McDonald over there, and oh, mythical boots. I was actually hoping that we get some mythical boots because we didn't have any more of those yet. So I will go ahead and take that. And now we just got 4 more keys to open up here. We got 2,000 mob coins, so we'll be able to get a bunch more custom enchants with those. And for our final 3 keys, let's see, 2 custom enchants. Wow, that's even more custom enchants. I'll take that, I guess. And for our final 2, please give me premium hose, bro. Yes, that is what I am talking about. We ended up getting 2 premium hoses this time, meaning we are going to be able to make a lot of money, which means we're going to be able to make some pretty cool builds in this video. So that is what I am talking about. Now we have 1 more mythical key to open up here. Let's see what we get. And 2 explosive shovels. You know what? That is a huge W crate opening, to be honest. These premium hose both sell for at least 3 to 4 million each, so I will take it. Now let's get to building our OP farms. And actually, one more thing, we need to open up this here. And an extra 100k, I'll take it. Okay, and one last thing before we start building this OP farm, I had a trade that I cannot refuse. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go to the auction house. There's a Cloud World axe here for 750,000. I'm gonna go ahead and buy that. However, we have a trade to make over at the Shady Corner. All right, so we're flying over to the corner right now, and what other person would I be doing some shady deals with? None other than Butter. So we're gonna go ahead and slash trade Butter, and I'm actually going to be trading the 2 snow golems that I had. In return, I'm going to get the Cloud World Hoe skin, which actually looks really cool. And there we go. Pleasure doing business with you. So this is what the hoe looks like before, just like a regular diamond hoe. So now we're going to go ahead and put this on. Hit confirm, and there we go. Now it actually looks pretty sick. And as you can see, I also bought the Cloud World axe off of the shop. So we're going to go ahead and put it on this axe now. And look at this. These axes look insane. I actually really like the wing design on them. So there we go. So now we got all of our OP tools, thanks to our shady dealer Butter. But now it's time to really start working on this farm. All right, so the first thing we're going to need to do to start our build is obviously collect all of our soul sand. So let's get started. All right, so now that we got all the nether wart, let's quickly gather all the soul sand. There we go. So now we got all of our soul sand. We got a bunch of it in our ender chest as well, and we might even need more. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm gonna figure out the dimensions, and then we're gonna get started. All right, so I think these are the dimensions I want to do. I believe it's gonna be a 16 by 16, because what I didn't know with the compost bins is I thought it was only an 8 by 8 radius, but when you place a compost bin in the middle, it will actually grow crops 8 blocks away in every direction. So it's basically a 16 by 16, which is why I actually had to take down my previous farms, and which is why I'm also going to be creating this giant one. So let's keep going here. Although I've never created an automatic farm before, I was confident I could. So I started by creating 4 layers of soul sand. All right, so the 16 by 16 platform is actually made, and if you saw in the time lapse, I actually had to rebuild it all because I built it 1 too low. I had to raise it all. Now what I'm gonna do is just put all of our soul sand in here for now, because we're not gonna need any more of that. And then we need to go back into the shop and buy a bunch of stone brick. Now hopefully that's enough. All I have to do now is let's go ahead and place the stone brick all the way around. Well, I built all of this stone brick 1 too high, so I actually got to take it down, and then I got to rebuild it. So now that I got all the stone brick around the first layer, I am going to have to put rails on top of this. That way I can use my minecart and harvest all of those, and then it's going to end up going down here and harvesting all of these, and you kind of get it. So let's keep working here. And it wouldn't be a painful video if I didn't mess up the entire build, so I had to quickly rebuild it with the right dimensions. After that, I quickly outlined the entire area where the minecarts will be going through the soul sand, connected it all together with rails and powered rails. That way it was a fully automatic farm, and I could make lots and lots of money and cloud points. And I wanted to give a special thanks to Snood for inspiring this build. Okay, that took a little longer than I thought, and it looks a little bit confusing right now, but we have a bunch of these redstone rails around, which should give us enough power to get around this entire thing. Now, I haven't actually tried it yet, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna post our compost bin right there. Let's go ahead and just place some torches in here as well. And as you guys can see, all of the crops have basically already fully grown from that compost bin. So if we fly up here to where the start is, if I grab one of these mine carts and we place it here, now let's go ahead and grab our premium hoe and let's real quick empty our inventory. Let's see how this works. I have yet to test it, so this may or may not work, but let's see. So now all I do is left click like this and it should actually, oh God. We are going quite slow around the corner here. Oh, the rail is not powered for some reason. Okay, well, that's our first mistake. I see what I did here. For some reason, there's no lever underneath this one. So if we go like that, and then it also looks like I missed one out right here. So if we just put another powered rail here, with a lever, there we go. And now that should work. We are gonna pretend that we didn't see that and we're gonna keep trying. Yeah, I guess we'll start from right here and then hopefully this works. Now, if I just hold my left click, it's gonna keep taking me through the entirety of this farm here. And now hopefully it brings me down. There we go. Now it's gonna bring us all the way around. As you can see, it's bringing us all the way around this farm and oh gosh, wait. Wait, how did I just do this? I completely just didn't put any rails here. Am I some sort of Dumbo? Okay, there we go. And now let's hop back at our minecart. I guess it's a good thing that we're going through this whole thing because clearly there was some issues. Okay, so now it's gonna bring us around this way. And it's like the ultimate lazy thing. I don't even have to do anything. It just auto brings me around the whole place. So I could actually just kind of chill here. And you guys are gonna see, I've sort of set this up pretty smart. It should take me all the way back up to the top. And then you go around in an infinite loop. So as you can see, this farm is absolutely OP. It's going to be a really good way to stack up a lot of money. And just like that, /sell hand, we just made $1,200 in like half a second. And not only that, but we actually got ourselves another cloud point. So my whole idea with this is I was actually going to build another one of these potentially here or on the other side over there, because I do have 2 compost bins. As you can see, we got our other one right here. But what I was thinking of doing, let's just chill here for the next few days, gather a bunch of nether wart and perhaps a bunch more cloud points. As you can see on the right side of the screen, I have doubled the amount of cloud points I got in only a little bit of days. So this thing actually works out really well. However, I still need to build some more farms because if we take a look over at the challenges, we're a bit over halfway done our nether wart, but there's still a ton of other crops that we need to upgrade. And the reason why I gotta upgrade, well, let me tell you, I'm gonna be getting a bunch more rewards. But before we go into any more farming, there's another thing we need to upgrade. So as you may or may not know, these chests are just constantly full, like all the time. And in my ender chest, I carry the sell wand, and I constantly have to sell everything. And yeah, sure, I make a little bit of money, but I wanna make a lot of money. I'm an investor. So what I think I'm gonna do is actually invest a lot more money into my grinder here. So the first thing, let's just buy a bunch of hoppers, and oh my gosh, $600,000 on hoppers. That one actually kind of hurt. And we'll go ahead and buy a bunch of wood. All right, now we're going to be transferring all of these into planks, and now we're going to go into our craft and create a bunch of chests. So I made sure I was in the chunk, created a bunch of chests above it to make a bunch more money. I expanded the chest room a little bit more. However, there was something in the item shop that I haven't used yet in the mob coin shop called a mob drop hopper. And basically any items that drop within a chunk will end up going in this hopper. So let's go ahead and buy a few of these. And just to test if this works, let's just place a random chest here. And then if we place a mob hopper on here, basically all of that loot should then go into here. Yep, look at that. It is already working. We've already got food in there. So let's actually let the mobs die here for a few moments. And as you can see, it's working out pretty nicely. So what I actually want to do, instead of building some ugly chest room that goes all the way down like this, I can actually make a really cool chest room up here now. So let's get started on that. So as you guys can see, I actually have this entire chunk laid out. By just pressing F3 and G, it will open up the chunk borders. So now I could perfectly line up where I want my chest to be. As you can see up top, all 3 of these are mob drop hoppers, and I kind of made a very expensive mistake. I bought a stack of mob drop hoppers, and I spent like thousands of mob coins doing it because I thought all of them needed to be that. However, I'm kind of a Dumbo because only the top ones needed to be that, right? Because then they can get the loot. and then it just shuffles down through regular hoppers. So yeah, I'm a little bit of a Dumbo for that, but you know what? It is what it is. But yeah, whatever we want, we can increase the size of this just so every time we sell, we could make even more money. But that is a lot better than what it was. We'll have to make this thing nice and beautiful at some point, but right now it's just about making money. So as you guys saw earlier on in the episode, we made it all the way up to the tier 3s, which means we can now purchase creeper spawners, cow spawners, and zombified piglins. Now, I don't want to spend all of my money, so I do want to make a deal with someone on the server, so I am going to have to ask around to see if I can find any of these spawners for a little bit cheaper. So I have asked around on the server to see if anyone had any tier 3 spawners, but no one had any that they're willing to sell as of now, so perhaps we'll ask again later. I don't want to pay full price if I don't have to, but yeah, let's go ahead and just use what money we have now. We're going to go ahead and build another farm basically like this over here, except it won't be nether wart, it'll be for another crop. All right, so I just went to sleep in real life and AFK'd this overnight, and as you guys can see, every single one of these chests actually ended up getting full. So let's take a look at how much more money we're gonna make now. So as you can see on the side, we have 1,601,000. Let's do this. Now we just gotta hit every single one of these and see how much money we get. And we just made 77,000 just from that. So that's actually not bad. But now imagine if I duplicated this over and over and over again. We could probably make hundreds of thousands, if not potentially up to $1 million if we ended up doing that. That's definitely a good future investment while we go AFK, but now it's time to build our other farm. Now all I had to do was replicate the farm I had already made, and just like that, our new farm was done. Okay, so as you guys saw, the farm is coming along nicely. I actually went ahead and added some water that goes through the middle. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and buy a bunch of beetroot seeds, and this is gonna be an entire beetroot farm for now. We can potentially build one more farm in the middle here. I don't think there's enough room for 2, but we could always change out what crops we want on here, because as you guys can see, looking at the challenges, there's a bunch of different crops that we're gonna need to do to complete these challenges. So for now, let's go ahead and use my premium hoe, which is super convenient. Look how much of an area it clears. It's absolutely perfect. And now let's just go ahead and plant our beetroots, and there we go. I went ahead and also just changed the water in the middle because it didn't reach both sides. It wasn't getting fully hydrated, so I went ahead and made 2 water sources that go down, and I also recreated the lighting that I made earlier in the sugarcane farm. Now the only thing that we're missing is our compost bin, so let's go ahead and grab that. And just like that, we got our compost bin placed. Now all of our crops should start growing relatively shortly. As you can see, everything is now growing, and I have yet to test out if this actually works. I perhaps may have messed up a couple rails, but I think we are looking good. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a cart and give this a try. Hopefully it works. We'll go ahead and place our cart here, and all right, so we are now in our beetroot farm. As you can see, we are going really, really fast around this whole thing. All of it seems to be working so far. As you can see, this thing turned out pretty nice. I wasn't too confident when it came to building farms, to be honest, because I don't have too much experience building these automatic farms, but it seemed like everything turned out nicely. So we've now unlocked the final level, and that is to be able to expand our 1 block. So going into /is upgrade, you can see using 68 cloud points, we'll be able to expand our island by 50 blocks in each direction. That will give us a lot more room to expand everything, especially over here. There's not much room I could build anything over here, so my goal is to get a bunch more cloud points by harvesting all of our crops. So I guess we'll get started on that. As you can see, I ended up putting really, really good use to this farm, and thank gosh that we have a compost bin, which basically auto grows our farms. There we go. It took a little bit of time, but we actually have 70 cloud points now. So if we go to /is upgrade, and then we go over to the increased island size, if we just left click and confirm it. Oh, there we go. It actually worked. Okay, so now we have 50 more blocks of space in every direction, which is going to give us a lot more room to build. But real quick, we're going to press F3 and G at the same time because we need to take a look at this chunk. As you can see, this chunk goes all the way up there, and it actually goes all the way down there. Now, I actually want to expand this chest area and go all the way over to the edge of the chunk. That way we can maximize the amount of money we make every time we go AFK. Now, just a tip from your boy Painful, if you're ever going to go to sleep, just go AFK next to the mob grinder, so every time they die, all their loot gets funneled through all of the chests that I'm going to have up here. So let's get started on that. I then spent a bunch more money expanding the entire chest area, which hopefully will pay off. Okay, so if you take a look at the right side of the screen, I've actually lost nearly all of my money now because these hoppers cost $600,000 per stack, and unfortunately, I only have my mob drop hoppers left, so I'm not going to be using those. However, we've got a bunch of the chests set up. This is actually the exact border of the chunk. If we can actually see here, it's lined up perfectly, so we're going to have so much money flowing through here. But yeah, leave some comments down below. How can I make this look cool? I'm thinking of potentially building another entire layer above this to kind of hide all of this, and then build some sort of buildings around these farms to make them look a lot better. But let me know, and whatever the top comment is, perhaps we'll do that in the 300-day video. And now that I was basically broke, I headed back to the dig site to make a bunch more money to get the rest of our hoppers. And after a long time of dig siting, I ended up getting a decent amount more money, so that's actually enough money to buy ourselves another stack of hoppers here. But my gosh, I can't believe they're so expensive. I definitely need to keep figuring out different ways of making money, because obviously earlier on this episode, we had over $5 million, but we've made a lot of investment. I think that's kind of the best option though. Instead of just sitting on a bunch of cash, spend that cash, invest it nicely so you can make a lot more later on. Anyways, let's place all of these down. And there we go. So now we have the entire thing set up. So whenever we decide to go AFK again, we're going to have to figure out how much money we're going to make out of all this. I honestly think I could probably make a solid $300,000 if I had to guess from selling all these, potentially even more. All right, so we've already done lots of stuff in this video. However, we are not finished yet. As you can see, we still have red and green Christmas designs. We're going to have to go ahead and change all of those because of course it is not Christmas anymore. And then what I want to do is create an enclosed area themed to whatever farms there are. For example, this enclosed area could be a nether theme because obviously it's nether wart. So that's what I think you're going to work on. But first, let's get to fixing this. So because it's not Christmas season anymore, I had to replace all the Christmas designs. And I just made it dirt for now. So as you can see, the Christmas theme is now gone. I'm probably going to do something other than making this all pathway because it just kind of looks a little bit weird, but we'll worry about that another time. Now, I just bought a bunch of nether supplies because I was going to get started on building the actual base around the farm. However, I realized I am broke and I need to get a bunch of different types of wood. So I think instead of building the houses around the farms, I actually need to create myself a giant tree farm utilizing a bunch of different blocks that we have in here, because as you can see in this chest here, I have an explosive pickaxe. So I'm thinking we instantly grow the trees and then we can just explode the trees down and we'll be able to get tons and tons of wood. So I guess we'll get started on creating our tree farms instead and perhaps get back to the farms a bit later. All right, as you can see, I made a very small tree farm here. I just wanted to test out this explosive axe because I've never tried before, but apparently, oh yeah, that's actually really good. So I think we're actually going to be able to farm this pretty well then. And just like that, the whole tree is down. So my goal is I'd probably sit up here and farm for the next few days just to get a bunch of supplies. That way I could save money and not having to spend a bunch of money on the shop. Alright, so as you can see, I am attempting to build a nice quartz block that surrounds the entire auto farm. The entranceway is going to be coming through here, and the good thing as well is netherrack is super cheap. Now, originally, I'm not sure what I was thinking with the crimson stem wood. I don't think it actually looks good, so I'll probably end up removing these big pillars. But my goal is to replicate a similar design on every side, and then I want to have some sort of lava and other nether features on the interior here that surround the farm. But we'll go ahead and continue. And at the time, it seemed like a great idea to build a massive quartz block, but as it came into fruition, it started looking really bad. So I ended up spending so much time building this, and it looks absolutely terrible. I don't know how it ended up looking this bad, but you guys have seen my builds. Like I built this, you know, I built this whole island, and this just looks terrible, guys. So let's get some L painfuls in the comment section down below. I'm actually gonna have to take down these walls because it just looks so bad, and we're gonna have to build something else here. I really don't know why I thought this was a good idea at all, but hey, you live and you learn. But before we get into that, I was talking to one of the richest players on the server. If we do /is top, you can see Psycho. He is currently rank 1 on Cloud World. And currently, he is looking for a Farmer 2 enchant. As you can see, you can only get it randomly from the enchantments. However, as you can see from earlier, we got 2 custom enchantments which allow you to get any custom enchantment of your choice. So, like any painful video, we are going to be making a trade. So let's head on over to the shady corner. All right, and I am seeing a shady person arriving at the shady corner, and it looks like it is Psycho. Now I gotta figure out how much money he's willing to pay for these enchants. Now, by the looks of it, Psycho said he is down to do $1 million, which I presume to be a fair deal because these are 2 guaranteed enchantments, so he's guaranteed to get the enchantment he wants. So we're going to go ahead and do that. If I open up my /toggle and I turn on my accept payments, because I only accept payments from trades and stuff like that, I can't just accept any random gifts. We will go ahead and do /trade Psycho. And as you can see, he has a banknote worth $1 million. So let's go ahead and throw up my custom enchantments here. And let's go ahead and click accept. And here we go. There we go. Okay, so what a great deal. So now if we just right click this, there we go. We got $1 million. So pleasure doing business with you, Psycho. As always, the shady corner seems to be a pretty productive place on Cloud World. Anyways, Psycho, pleasure as always. Let's head back on over to base. And I need to figure out what the heck I'm going to do with this thing because it looks so bad. All right, so I decided to let a few players onto my island just to look at the terrible build that I made. And as you can see, I'm not only calling it bad, but everyone, he says, yo, your island is as bland as your hairline. Bro, I'm getting straight up roasted by these guys. I think the actual interior looks kind of cool. Obviously, it fits the Nether theme, but the actual exterior just looks so bad. Everyone that teleported over here is like, dude, that is absolutely terrible. So I'm glad we're going to be getting rid of this. And actually, now that I have AFK'd here for a while as well, let's take a look and see how many of these chests are full. So it looks like it's filled all the way over this row. This row is all the way over. Slayer is saying, why do you need so many chest toppers? I need to become richful, and this is honestly a great way to do that. So wow, wait, oh my gosh, are all of these full? Okay, wow, so it's filled all the way up to this layer. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and get our sell wand, and we are gonna sell all the way up to the 6 layers and see how much money we get. We're currently at 1.3 mil, so we'll go ahead and try selling all this stuff. And there we go. So we ended up making like 150 to 200K there. So for literally doing nothing, I'll take it. Now let's figure out this issue. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're now gonna get rid of all this work I just did. There we go. Okay, that looks much better. Now we just need to figure out exactly what we're gonna do, and I think I have some ideas. As you can see, this design is already looking infinitely better than that quartz block. That was a shame. We are not gonna talk about that, but I went ahead and added trees everywhere and added a bunch of different nether ores to finish it up. Well, that looks a lot better than what it did before. That super ugly nether quartz block turning into this, I think, is insane. I even had it kind of like slowly infect this other area. So it looks like it's slowly starting to infect everything, which is pretty awesome. And then obviously we just have a bunch of nether supplies and it just looks so much better. So now if we actually go on our minecart here, and now we're going to go for a ride and see what this looks like. So as you can see, it looks pretty awesome. I really like that I decided to make this a themed area, like a fully nether themed. I think it really ties together the farm. And moving forward in the future, I think I'm gonna have to make each different farm and each different area of my base a different theme, because I think that's a great idea. Thank you guys so much for watching, and here's another video just like this one.